Well, thank you. And again, my name is Tom Hillstrom. I work for Excel Energy, and I'm the project, the permitting leader for this project. And I see lots of familiar faces. It's good to see you out tonight. The first thing I'm going to talk about is the regulatory review processes, and I can keep this pretty quick because Representative Doyle did a fantastic job at describing the Wisconsin process. We have three environmental review and routing processes that we're going through for this project. One for each state, Minnesota and Wisconsin, and then an overlapping federal environmental review. And just a couple of weeks ago, we were out here in Centerville and at Alma having meetings about the federal process. What they're doing now in the federal realm is they prepared an environmental impact statement, and now they're going to finalize that one, similar to what's going on in Wisconsin. And in Wisconsin, again, Representative Doyle explained where we're at in that one. And again, I want to make sure that everybody understands that a very crucial part is coming up in March with the public hearings on the 13th and 14th. That's a very important time to get your voice heard. The Minnesota process is a little bit ahead of the Wisconsin process. We're expecting a decision on a route in Minnesota in a couple of months now. One thing I want to explain is when the utilities decide that they want to propose a project, the first thing that we do is we look to states for guidance on how we best should figure out which routes should be considered. And in Wisconsin, it's pretty clear. Wisconsin has actual cited statutes. Now, these are laws that tell us what kind of corridors we should consider when we're looking at potential routes. And the first thing that they show, the number one priority, is to look at existing power lines. And the idea there is that if you can find an existing power line that you can follow for the entire route, or a portion of that route, the idea is that you can just remove that existing power line and build a new one with bigger structures that hold the old wires and the new wires on a single set of structures using that existing corridor. In that way, you don't have to create a new corridor that really minimizes the impact on people and the environment. Now, if that's not available, the next thing that they say for us to look at is highways. And so the similar idea there, if there's already a highway corridor, we can build alongside that highway corridor and again minimize impacts by not having to create a new corridor. And then the third thing is recreational trails. That's not usually a popular option, so it's not used very much. The last thing is that if you have none of those options available, then you look to a new corridor. And so what we have done over the past 3 years is we've figured out what any conceivable route might be and presented those routes to people and agencies and really winnow those routes down. We've kicked out the ones that don't make sense to people or aren't possible through agency permitting. And what we've arrived at is the routes that are being considered in this permit application. And what I'd like to do is spend some time on this slide because this is important. As we get into the questions and we start talking about these routes, we need to be familiar with them. The route that follows most closely along the river is called the Q1 route, and that's because it follows an existing power line that's owned by Darrell, and they call that line the Q1 line. So this is the Q1 route, parallel with the river. And the other contrast to the Q1 route is the Arcadia route that heads east from Alma to Arcadia, then follow, and again, this follows an existing power line as well. And then from Arcadia south, it follows the power line to Highway 53 just west of Galesville. And it follows the highway to a point east of Galesville near the Hunters Bridge. And then again, it follows an existing power line down to the end point here on your Briggs Road. Now, there are some options that are being considered too. This purple line is the Highway 88 option. This green line here is called the Etcher option. And then there's a connector that doesn't show up very well because it's in yellow. And that connects the Q1 route to the Arcadia route near Galesville. I want to point out what's going on down here at the Black River. Originally, we thought the Q1 route would follow the Q1 line all the way through the Black River, but there's an important point here where this existing power line goes through about a mile of federal refuge land. And we heard from the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service that that would likely not be permittable. So the utilities did not apply for this route in the Wisconsin permit application, but because it wasn't an absolute no from the Fish and Wildlife Service, we put all the information in the application so that this route could be considered if the Fish and Wildlife Service would allow it. To date, their stance is still that it would not be permittable. And here we have a zoomed in map showing the Holmen area. Holmen is down here and the routes are here. And I do want to point out that if there's questions that would benefit by us zooming in on these areas, I do have another software running on my computer. I can zoom into any area that people have questions about to give a more clear answer to show the picture.